Let's go ahead and find the exact value of sine of u plus v. And we're given the following information. We're given that the sine of u is 5 over 13, and we're also given that the cosine of v is negative 3/5. Okay, so just like the first example, we're going to need to create two right triangles so we can find the rest of the values that is needed. So actually, let me just go ahead and write down, okay, so sine of u plus v, let's just go write this down. That's sine of u times the cosine of v plus the cosine of u times the sine of v. All right, so in order to replace all these values, we have to have our two triangles there. So I'm just going to make these two triangles here. Okay, and notice that both of the triangles are in the second quadrant. That's what it says here. Both u and v are in quadrant number 2. So I'm just going to stick a u right here. And let's just do the one with the u. Sine of u is opposite 5 over 13. One of our triples again, so this has to be 12. But notice that this has to be negative because it's in the second quadrant. Like this point right here is negative 12, negative 12, 5. So this has to be a negative 12. So don't get tricked right there. All right, and then let's create another right triangle for our v. So that's v right there. And cosine of v is negative 3 over 5. Just notice that the hypotenuse is never negative, and it can never be negative just because of Pythagorean theorem. If I square this leg and square this leg, it's not possible to have a negative number. So that's why the negative will always go on one of the legs. And this is also one of our triples. So this would be, say, 3, 4, 5 triangle. All right, so let's just plug them in now. Sine of u. U is 5 over 13. So 5 over 13 times cosine of v. Adjacent over hypotenuse. So that's negative 3 over 5. Plus the cosine of u. Go to u. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So negative 12 over 13. Super sweet. And then cosine of v. I'm sorry, sine of v. Opposite over hypotenuse. So times 4 over 5. All right, so if we simplify all this, 5 and negative 3 is negative 15. Just multiply straight across. And then we get 65. And then a negative 12 times a positive 4, negative 48, all over 65. And we'll finally get negative 63 over 65. Wha-bam!